Good morning. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you. Are we ready? We're just going to really get right with it. Okay? Is not very far. The song of the sages, the knowledge of the ages is living where you reside. You have the key that unlocks a door to enter in that sacred place you haven't gone before, where deep meets deep, soul to soul. Feel that connection as the truth unfolds. I Yes, you are the key that unlocks the door to freedom and leads you to me. Look deep inside you, trust the force that guides you, it knows the way. Yeah, there's no separation, we're one and the same, a child of the Creator, known by different names, the Alpha and Omega, the eternal flame that burns deep inside you. Do you know my name? I am from the mountains to the oceans. I am from the rocks to the trees. I am all the stars and constellations. I am, you are. I am from the mountains to the oceans. I am from the rocks to the trees. I am all the stars and constellations. I am, and you are. I'm spiritual and mystical. I am light, I am love. I live in you, and you live in me. From the very low to the heavens above, I am. Come on, put your hands together. There's no separation, we're one and the same, a child of the Creator, known by different names, the Alpha and Omega, the eternal flame. It burns deep inside you. Do you know my name? I am from the mountains to the oceans. I am from the rocks to the trees. I am all the stars and constellations. I am, you are. I am the peace that passes all understanding. I am the joy that's overflowing. I am the love in abundance. I am, you are. I Thank you.
Now you know why we were so excited to have Charles Holt back. Welcome this morning. Thank you so much. I'll tell you a little bit about Charles in just a few minutes, but Charles, I want to thank you for being here, and we want to welcome each and every one of you, and thank you for being here this chilly morning. You know, in Unity, we realize we come from many different spiritual traditions, many different walks in life, but what brings us here together is love, and the realization that God is love, and honoring that divine essence that is the essence and life of all creation, seeing all of life as sacred. The way that we engage that is right here. Would you please join me? We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and socially responsive. With that, I invite you to join in an opening prayer. As we turn our awareness within this morning, we do so in that spirit that Charles so beautifully sang about, I am. I am that I am, the essence of all creation, that which is beyond form, before identity, beyond name. The essence of all creation, the spirit that we are, I am that I am. Today we open to this spirit. And today we open and celebrate with those around us the message of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the life, the legacy, what it means to live out loud love, what it means to forgive, what it means to know yourself and all others as spirit expressing. Today we open to this message. We open to the celebrating spirit within all creation. We are truly grateful and give thanks. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. We invite you to stand as you're able, and in honor of Dr. King, we are singing this song together, We Shall Overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. And we'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. And we shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in this day, this day. Oh, now deep in my heart, oh, I do believe we shall walk in peace this day. Yes, we shall live in peace this day. Living in peace right now, yeah. Would you turn and welcome those around you in that spirit of peace? Welcome this morning to Unity. You ready to stand for love? Here we go. I will stand, stand for love. I will stand, stand for love. 'Cause I know I can be strong for love. Yes, I know I can be strong for love. Stand for peace. And I will stand, stand for peace. I will stand, stand for peace. 'Cause I know I can be strong for peace. Yes, I know. Yes, I know I can be strong for peace. Play it, Richard Schulman. Dave De La Rosa. Yes, I know I can be strong for you. Stand for love, and I will stand. Stand for love. Stand for love, 'cause I know I can be strong for love. Yes, I know I can be strong for love. Oh, I will stand, stand for love. I will stand, stand for love. 'Cause I know I can be strong for love. Yes, I know. Yes, I know I can be strong for love. One more time. 'Cause I know I can be strong for love. Stand for love. You sound beautiful. Thank you. You may be seated. We are so blessed each and every week with an amazing Unity band. We have with us Dave Richard. We have on stand-up bass today Bill Foudy, and Barefoot Pete is back after a surgery. So glad to have you all back. So welcome to each and every one of you this morning. We want to begin by acknowledging our young people and our youth. Today is also the third Sunday. Every third Sunday, Sharon Oxendine, who's an elder in the Lumbee tradition, she has a group, leads a group that she calls Girl Tribe. We have a vision this year of starting a teen boy tribe. So if any of you have an interest in helping us with that, please let us know. But we're going to invite our young people to come over. For those of you that were here last week, you know I responded to questions from the congregation, and I shared the questions from our youth, which were by far the hardest questions and really very interesting. So today, Charles is going to be with us speaking, and I'm going to slip out and go back in a little bit and be with our youth today to share that with them. And then next Sunday, I'll share portions of, I'll respond because many of you said, I want to hear the answers to their questions. So after I have the opportunity to be with them, and if there's any parents that really want to go back, when I slip out, you can just slip out with me. But I'll share that time with them, and then we will report back next week. So we'll look forward to that. So to our beautiful group of young people, to those that are in the nursery, to our teens, our girl tribe, and to our youth workers, would you just let us bless them together and say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Have a wonderful Sunday school experience this morning, and I will see you soon. We would also like to take the opportunity to extend a welcome to any of you that may be here for the first time. If it's your first time, or perhaps your first time in a really long time, if you raise your hand, we'll extend a connections card to you. You can drop this card off at our Welcome Center. There's a heart attached to this card, and if you wear this heart, there's one Linda on the front row. If you hold your hand up just a moment, Unity folks lovingly point to those people where you saw hands so we can find them. But if you will wear this heart, it will allow us to more easily find you, and we can extend a welcome. Again, we have a little welcome booth where you can drop your cards off. Anybody can pick up a packet of information. If you have a question, a suggestion, we invite you to stop by there and let us know. But we want to take the opportunity to welcome you, and I invite you to turn and wave at our cameras. Those that are joining us now by live stream, those that will join us later, we welcome you as well. And to each and every one, we say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. We are blessed by your presence. Thank you for being here. Reverend Christy Corn is going to share a few announcements with you. Reverend Diane West is going to share some information about our prayer programs and a reading, and then I will introduce our amazing guest to you today.
Good morning, everyone. If you've not yet silenced your cell phones, now would be the perfect time to do that. If you can actually turn them all the way off on airplane mode or turn them all the way off, that would really help us out in here. So thank you for that. Wanted to let you know that we have opportunities in sacred service. The welcome team is looking for some more folks to join them in greeting folks and being a warm welcome to those that come here to Unity of the Blue Ridge. Reverend Elon is standing in the back there waving. And if you would like to be a part of that team or have any questions about that, please see Reverend Elon after the service today. On the first Sunday in February, February 2nd, we have one combined service at 10:30 a.m. It's an opportunity for us to come together as a congregation and have our vision for 2020. So we're going to catch the vision, we're going to have refreshments following the service. And so first Sunday, February 2nd, one service at? You got it. We've got a class coming up, Unity Foundations. If you are interested in learning more about Unity of the Blue Ridge, our foundation principles, you have two opportunities. On Wednesday, February 12th, from 3 to 4:30, there's an afternoon class. And for this class only, on the Wednesday afternoon class, if some parents are out there and would like to attend, you have little ones and would like childcare, please let us know. There's a sign-up sheet out in the lobby, and let us know by February 9th so we can arrange that childcare for you. In the evening class, which is the next night, Thursday the 13th, that class is from 7 to 8:30. Again, if you are thinking about joining as a member, we'll be welcoming new members in February, and this class is a prerequisite. So we invite you to attend and learn more, and those of us that have been around a while, come get a refresher. And then, now, actually, I would like to introduce Reverend Diane West, who is one of our prayer chaplains.
Thank you, Christy. Good morning. So I have two questions for you, and you can just think about them. You don't need to respond out loud. The first one is, do you truly believe in the power of prayer? And the second, is prayer a part of your daily life? And if your answer is yes to both, and if you're looking for a place to serve, you may want to consider becoming part of our prayer team. And our prayer team includes both the prayer chaplains and also our sacred prayer circle. I'm not going to give you a lot of information about that this morning, but if you do want more information, there's a sign-up sheet out in the lobby. There's also a couple of handouts for each position, and I will be out there as well if you have questions. Thank you. And so now our inspirational reading for today features Dr. Martin Luther King. So as we approach the national holiday honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it is also good to reflect on and contemplate his spirituality and commit to a deeper life of prayer ourselves. Throughout his life, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. turned to prayer for his own spiritual fulfillment while also delivering prayers to the public as a way to inspire and reaffirm a quest for peace and social justice. Dr. King's emphasis on private prayer as creative energy was consistent with his tendency to place spiritual transformation at the center of every action he took as a crusader for freedom, justice, and human dignity. Here is one of Dr. King's prayers. Eternal God, out of whose mind this great cosmic universe exists, we give thanks. Help us to seek that which is high, noble, and good. Help us in the moment of difficult decision. Help us to work with renewed vigor for a warless world, a better distribution of wealth, and a brother-sisterhood that transcends race or color. Eternal God, out of whose mind this great cosmic universe exists, we give thanks. And Reverend Darlene will introduce our host today.
Thank you, Diane. It's such a pleasure. How many of you have had the opportunity to experience Charles Holt before today? Probably about half. Charles, come on up. Someone walked in and they looked at him and they said, I've seen that man on television, I believe. And I said, you probably have seen him on television, whether it was Law and Order, some of the soap operas that we won't talk about. I don't even know them all. Maybe it was Broadway on Lion King or many different places. But Charles grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. He had a time playing football, and life led him through a series of things. But Charles is an amazing singer, songwriter. He's an author, he's a playwright, he's an actor. He spent a number of years with Dr. Michael Beckwith and Ricky Byers and really grounded in spiritual consciousness where he began to blend those things together. He works with emotional literacy, he works with children. The list just sort of goes on and on. But when you experience him, and today in particular, when we really want to join with others in celebrating what it means to be a beloved community and what the power of forgiveness and the role of forgiveness. It's such a delight. Charles has been traveling internationally and just recently moved back to Atlanta. And it was kind of interesting. Not long ago, I was in prayer, and I just saw his face, and I just heard call him, and I did. And he said, well, how timely. I just moved back. I'd love to come to your church. We've already scheduled him to come back in June when he'll be leading a workshop and speaking again. But would you join me in welcoming Charles Holt? Thank you.
Thank you. Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. Now I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. But when I close my and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hands. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high, but never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am I'm just a little smoother in your hands. Rolling river God, these little stones are smooth. It's only once a water passes through, and when I close my eyes, I feel you rushing by, and I know that you picked me up and noticed that I am just a little smoother in your hands. take a breath together. Wow. Hello. I'm back. So that song just lights me up. It just does. And I'm so grateful to be back with you all. It's been a while. A lot has transpired. Reverend Darlene called me, and I wasn't expecting it. I had just moved in. I moved back to Atlanta January 1st of this year. Never thought I would be back in Atlanta. I'm from the South. I'm originally from Nashville, but I had lived my life in New York and Los Angeles in between the two. And I just got off of a cruise ship. 6 months on a cruise ship. Six months on a cruise ship. I was singing and dancing and all of that, but again, 6 months on a cruise ship. I saw 15 different countries, and on this vessel, you know, it's interesting because being out in that vastness where you cannot see land, land is way away. You know, there was a time when I thought, well, if I've never trusted you before, God, I have to trust you now, because there is nothing I can do out here but say, yes, I'm in the hands of the divine. And when I got back, I was so glad. I nearly knelt down and kissed the ground just to say thank you. Thank you for making it through that. But my life has been like that. I lived in Los Angeles for 12, 13 years. And I decided to move back to New York. I wanted to be back on Broadway. I wanted to experience the big city again. So I packed up my buggy, and back to New York I was headed. I stopped in Nashville, though, my hometown. My sister was selling the last house that my parents lived in. So I decided I would stay there. And then a couple of days before I arrived, she said, oh, well, someone has just put an offer on it and they want to move in really quickly. I said, okay. So you probably won't be able to stay but 2 or 3 days, if that. About 3 hours from arrival, she calls back and says, they rescinded. You'll stay here, you know, we'll sell it. So I walked into the house, there was nothing in it. It's a bedroom suit. And I woke up every morning to a voice that said, I want you to walk the perimeter of the rooms in the house. I did just that. Now, during the course of my living in Los Angeles, I had been all over the country engaging youth, from correctional facilities to prisons, to high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, and I'd written this curriculum on emotional literacy and learning. It was birthed out of my relationship with my father, who had passed in 2013. So as I walked these rooms, something said, take that curriculum to the Nashville public school system. And I said, okay, I will, but God, I'm headed back to New York. Take the curriculum to the public school system. And I had in my mind, you know how we fix things and make them fit our plan. I said, okay, I'll take it. If they like it, I'll just move to New York and come back and forth. So I get to the Nashville public school system, and the gentleman's name was Dr. Tony Majors. I don't know why it didn't ring at first, but he's a student support executive. He's a big wig at the Nashville-Davidson County Public School System. And I walked into his office and I said, "We played high school football together, didn't we?" I sit down and I go over the 4 pillars of my curriculum. I said, you know, emotional literacy and learning should be a part of the curriculum in every school. I believe emotions are a part of the comprehensive living and loving that we have in our bodies. I believe that. And I am going over, thank you, I'm going over the 4 different pillars. We start with mindfulness, then we go to empowerment, then we go to process drama because I'm an actor and I love drama. So anyway, I'm talking to him and he's steady dialing. And he interrupts. He says, "I just got off the phone with the principal at Fall Hamilton Elementary School. You have an appointment with him next Wednesday." I said, "Okay." He says, "They really need your work over there." I said, "Oh, okay." So I go and meet the principal. The principal says to me, "So glad that you came. In anticipation of you coming, I got 14 of my 3rd and 4th graders who I think would be great for your program, who I think would benefit greatly." Now, I think to myself, I haven't signed a paper. I haven't said yes. So I continue. I go into this room. There are 14, yes, rambunctious little 3rd and 4th graders running around the room. And he says, "Oh, wait a minute." He tries to quiet them down. And all of a sudden, this young man comes up and he grabs my shirt like this. And he says, "Mr. Holt, Mr. Holt." I said, "Yes." He says, "Will you come over here? I want you to see what we're doing." And I looked at this young man in his eyes. And my mind went all the way back to my childhood. That's how I used to grab my daddy. "Daddy, will you come out and play ball with me?" I'd have my ball and my bat. I was ready. And my father was old school. And he'd whisk my hand away and he'd say, "Haven't I told you about coming up, putting your hands on people, touching on people? Stop that. You're not supposed to be touching on people. And no, I can't play ball with you. I'm going to see my friends. It's the weekend." Well, like all children, hopeful that one day he'll say yes. So I kept asking, and I kept getting the same answer. And he also added, "And you talk too much. Little boys don't talk as much as you do. And you cry sometimes. Little boys, stop all of that crying. I'll give you something to cry about. Go ahead and chuckle because you know that you've said it or somebody said it to you before. We live in the South." On and on and on and on. And after a while, I couldn't let it roll off my back. It began to sting. So by the age of 8 and 9 years old, I was in the 3rd and 4th grade. I decided I got it because I was smart. Something's wrong with me. And I know I came here like this. I was fully self-expressed. Talked to everybody. I didn't meet strangers. And touching people was something spiritual, but I didn't know it. So I'll change. I'll cut all of that off just so I can get his approval. Just so I can be validated. And my life began to change. And as my life began to change, I began to go down on these uncharted waters. They weren't mine to drift through, but I had to because I wanted the approval of my father. And I never got it. Straight A's, honor society, honor roll. I was a high school all-star football player. College football scholarships. I went to college on a football scholarship. I couldn't wait to get out of that house. And at the age of 15, I said something to my father that I would never say to anybody, but I told him I hated him. It had grown and grown and grown, and I had wanted that relationship with my father so badly that I couldn't get it because I loved him. I loved my daddy. He was my hero, but he was over there, and I couldn't get to him. Went to college, graduated college. Started working for IBM. You know, back in the day, IBM was a big thing. Got a job as a marketing representative and went back to Nashville. I was living in Memphis at the time where I graduated college. Went back to Nashville and I said, this will do it. I'm on my own. I got my own place, got my own car, my own responsibilities, and I'm taking care of everything. He'll love it. And all he said was, oh, that's nice. I was driving back from Nashville to Memphis, and I saw this billboard on the side of the street that says, Jesus cares for you. And I pulled over, and I stared at that sign, and I said, I don't care if Jesus cares for me. I want my daddy to care about me. It was to that point in my life where I needed him so badly. I didn't know what to do. Dropped out of corporate America and decided I'm going to move to New York. I want to be on Broadway. Bless you. I got to New York. New York, in 30 minutes, felt more like home than I'd ever felt in my life. And in the back of my head, I thought to myself, I'm far away from him. And something spoke to me and said, yes, you can be physically far away from him. You can go to Iceland if you want to. But what you felt for him will be just as close to your heart as it ever has been. I got the national tour of Jesus Christ Superstar. Ted Neely and Carl Anderson. I played Simon. 6 months traveling all over the country in a sleeper bus. And one morning I got up and I heard a voice said, when you get back, I want you to call him. I got back to New York. I sat on the edge of my bed in that Harlem apartment, and I said, okay, I need a little bit more courage to dial the numbers. Finally, I dialed them. My mother answered the phone. I said, Mommy, is Daddy there? She said, yeah, he's right here. I said, can I speak with him, please? She said, sure, is everything okay? I said, yes, ma'am. My father answered the phone. Monotone voice. Hello. I remember that growing up. No, I can't play with you. Sit down. Be quiet. Go to your room. And all of the courage inside of me was sucked out in that moment. And I went up a laundry list and down the other side of things. Did you remember when I was 5, when I was 8, when I was 13 and 15 and 21? I begged you. Do you remember what you said to me? I didn't understand anything you were saying. All I knew is that it hurt so badly. And my father paused and he said, well, I want to tell you this. I don't remember saying any of those things. So I think you probably have the wrong person. I was furious. I went down the other side of the laundry list, and I heard a voice say it. And I took a deep breath. And I said, Daddy, I forgive you. Silence on the other side. Well, that made me even angrier. How dare you not respond? And then I heard the other voice say, tell him what you really think about him. And I took a deeper breath and I said, Daddy, I said, I love you. I always have loved you and I always will. Silence. I hung up the phone and I cried myself to sleep. And I have always been able to access the ethereal. So I wake up to a band playing music in my head. And I hear a voice say, congratulations, you did it. And I said, I did what? It said, you called him. You forgave him. I said, it didn't matter because he didn't say anything. And the voice said, it wasn't for him. It was for you. You released him, but you freed yourself. I didn't understand that until later on. That was 1997, January of 1997. Fast forward 2009, my father is now on dialysis. I go to Nashville to fray some of the responsibility that my mother has. And my father's just come back from one of his sessions. And he is shuffling down the hallway to his room. I'm behind him with a shawl. And the man that was once towering at 6 foot is now bent over, and he's almost the same height as me. We travel down the hall, and I'm just thinking to myself as I watch him shuffle back, this is not the man that I grew up with. Where is he? And all of a sudden, he turns, and he looks at me, and he says, there's my baby. Daddy loves you. I didn't know what to say. I looked at him, and something inside of me was so angry. Where was that when I was 5? I begged you. I hugged you. I wanted you to hug me back. 13, I just needed somebody to tell me I was okay. And I just needed for you to say you were proud of me. But you didn't, and now you've spent all of these years, and then I heard the voice say, he's ready now. Are you? See, I'd gotten all the teachings from Dr. Michael Beckwith. Forgiveness was one of those principles. I'd say, I'd forgiven my father. Yes, I have. And then Spirit comes and says, you did forgive him. But that was just one layer of the onion. Ready to peel back another one? Say, I thought forgiveness. No, it's not a one-time thing, Charles. I said, okay, I'm ready. In 2013, the man who had enforced and reinforced not crying to me sat on his bed and wept. And he said to me, as I was the only one there with him, son, I'm ready to see my mama. I'm ready to see my mama. The last 5 days of my father's life, I was there with him, and we spoke in the ethers. And my father said to me, son, I know that I didn't say things like you wanted me to. Not the way that you wanted me to. Things kind of rubbed you the wrong way. But I did my best. And I surely did love you. I did. And I wanted to protect you. You came here with freedom that I never knew. My father was born in 1925. And I could only give you what my father gave me. Because I knew that you had work to do out in the world. And I'm gone now. This is just the mortal coil. But I'll be able to travel with you everywhere you go. So my charge to you is to take what we've gone through and to give it away to those kids who will struggle with the same types of things that you did with me. Teach them how to manage and regulate the emotional body. It's our legacy together. And I come back to that young man. Mr. Holt! Mr. Holt! Come over here. Are you coming? And I look at him and I says, yes, I'm coming now. The essence of forgiveness is the great emancipation. It is what frees us. Not just in our own minds, but it frees us to do the work that we are called to do. Now. And I'm sure that there is just one person, if just one person, that you have in your mind, whether they are still here in form or they have crossed over to the other side of the veil, that you can think of, that you may need to send a little note to and say, once again, I forgive you. Once again, I release you. Don't agree with what you did to me or said to me. But it's the great blessing because I'm freeing myself. If there's just one person, bring them into mind now. Because we have work to do. And we cannot teach until we are free. The prayers that we pray for other people have a ceiling when we're not free because it's painful. Take a breath with me here. And if it's just yourself, just say, I forgive me. All the things that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. Because I'm ready for my change. Yes. So in this moment, I give great thanks for this message that has come to me, but has come through me as well. And I am one with every person in this room, and we are all one. There's no separation. We're all the same, called by different names. So my charge to you is to give yourself permission to let it go. And then to come back to self and to say, it's well. God, it's well. And then when there's another peel of the onion to say, I let it go. I let it go. And then this divine yes. I say yes to what is calling me now. Forth. Come out wherever you are. I'm ready for my change. Namaste. God bless you.
So we're going to go ahead and extend the same blessing to you and thank you for your message of heart, for your spirit, for the work that you're doing in the world, for the empowerment of transformation for each of us, and that invitation. So we're just going to rub our hands together and say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Would you like to join me and we'll do one verse of I Stand for Love. Ready? I don't remember the words. Come on up. Come on. Come on. Ready? I will stand for love. I will stand for love. 'Cause I know I can be strong for love. I know I can be strong for love. I will stand for love. I will stand for love. 'Cause I know I can be strong for love. 'Cause I know I can be strong for love. I will stand for love. Whew, what a message. Thank you for carrying that legacy in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King. Just such a powerful message of justice and love and peace and doing our inner work and holding that lantern, that light for others in the world. So now is a time in our service where we prepare for our tithes and our offerings. And Charles, I'm going to invite you back up here to prepare for your song. And as we prepare to give our gifts, just let us fall into that sense of peace and that sense of forgiveness and openness and transformation. And know that all the gifts that you give to this community supports the greater work in the world and comes back and blesses us multiplied abundantly. Let us repeat this affirmation together aloud. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. I am now in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving. Thank you, God, and so it is.
All right. Thank you. So this last song that I'm going to sing for you today, it's inspired by my grandmother. I used to stay with Granny when I was growing up. I was the youngest child by over a decade, and we lived in an all-black community in Nashville. And so one day I saw on the outer skirts some Asians moving in. And I went to my grandmother and I said, Granny, there's some people moving into our neighborhood. And I'm not so sure I like it. I don't understand a word they say, and they live a whole lot of people in one house. And my grandmother came over to me and she put her finger over my mouth. And she said, let me tell you something. They're trying to make it just like we are. You tend to your business and leave those people alone. Do you hear me? And when they speak to you, you better speak back to them or else I'll get you. Okay, Granny. So this song is dedicated to that part of us that gets a little testy when we see others moving into our territory. Sit yourself right on down. What business is it of yours that somebody else has moved into your town? Just because they don't look like you and they don't play by your rules, what gives you the right to criticize? Everybody needs to be fed and somewhere to lay their head. There's always a place at the table. She said, listen, child, there's something else I think you should know. Just because you say they don't belong, I'm here to tell you it don't make it so. Oh no, people wanna be free to do the same as you and me. So take this lesson and get it right. You have not been raised to segregate. I walk too many picket lines to do away with hate. Don't think that we're so different. We all bleed the same. Take this lesson in life and be willing to make a change. Oh yes. Well,
Charles Holt. I'm already looking forward to June when you come back. I said we need to make him a once a quarter kind of thing around here. I do believe. Oh, Charles, thank you so much for being with us. Yeah. As our ushers come forward, take this opportunity to look around and to express your gratitude to those around you. Jim Reed, would you please come here just 1 second and just hang tight for a minute, and then I'll tell you why I asked you to come up. But our prayer chaplains will be available after the service today, just through this door and to your left. Have an opportunity for prayer as an individual, a couple, or a family. And we give thanks as Carol, one of our prayer chaplains, will bless our gifts and the givers.
Thank you, Father, Mother God, for the privilege that it is to be here in this space, in this world, in our lives. And together we affirm the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God enables us, the presence of God abides with us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you so much. This amazing man, Jim Reed, I've had the opportunity to know him personally because he served as the board president for a number of years. And there's something very special going on today in that he is turning 75 years young. Yeah. So I told him 75's getting younger and younger, and so this was a surprise to Jim, but there's some refreshments out, and when you go out, there's going to be some refreshments in the foyer, and we're going to crash your party. So take an opportunity to let Jim know that we appreciate his presence around here, and our world is blessed by you and could use so many more men like you, so many more people like you, Jim Reed. What a true blessing you are. It's an honor, so thank you. Would you please stand as we bring this service to a close, as we close in song, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
So I just want to let you know that Charles Holt has his books and CDs available out in the foyer, so please stop by. And if you'd like to be on his mailing list, you can add your name to that.